401ks are being sued for these reasons: inappropriate investment choice, excessive fees. Did you know that your 401k is being charged excessive fees? Well, yeah, some of these people found out that that is the case. Oh, this one's self-dealing. Self-dealing most often refers to a case in which the plan fiduciary acts in its own best interest other than serving the plan of the participants. Oh, geez. Where have you heard of that before? So there are a lot of reasons why it makes sense to look at an IUL for tax-free retirement than the typical tax deferred. One of the biggest reasons is the cost of tax deferral, okay? Yeah. Sam, you're on here. I can't believe it. I think this is probably the first one you've been on in a while. That's cool. So here's, when you compare, and again, I'm not teaching you IUL here, but I want you to understand why you should be motivated to learn it. So here's the cost of deferring taxes. So this is one of the many ways of showing people through numbers, just basic numbers, what it costs someone to defer taxes. So let's take this example of this person who's annually saving $10,000 a year for 30 years. So let's say they're in 22% tax bracket. So what they're deferring in terms of taxes, let's say this is a IRA or a 401k, either one, they're saving $2,200 because they're contributing this with before tax dollars. So their total saved to include an 8% interest rate growth is $1,132,832. And this gets that magic $1 million that you need by retirement. I mean, I don't know how people retire on $1 million, okay, personally, but this is like the prevailing wisdom, right? And so total taxes that they save is $66,000. You think, oh man, that's a lot of money that I'm deferring during my work life to pay later when I pull this out. So let's take the retirement income side. So let's say they're annually withdrawing $72,000 a year, all taxable. Let's say they maintain the 22% tax bracket, assuming that nothing changes in their tax situation. Okay, and this chart was done before the raising of taxes that Biden's going to do, which is really good for us. It's kind of like, I'm glad he is doing it, so people are being more more concerned about it. So let's say they draw this out 25 years. The annual taxes paid is $15,953. They draw it out for 25 years. The total taxes they're paying is $398,831. Do you see how deferring $66,000 in order to pay $398,000 on a very simple example, does that make sense to you? Like what the cost of deferral is? Okay, it's like pretty huge. Okay, now let me show some of these. So why is an index vehicle a safe vehicle? This is a really cool video on the power of indexing. Okay, so when they put their money in indexed product like an indexed annuity or indexed universal life, they take advantage of indexing, which Warren Buffett says everyone should have money in an index fund. So this is a short for.
You may have taken a hit in the stock market crashes of 2000, 2008, or maybe both, and thought, I never, ever want to do this again. Even if I can't have the gains of the stock market, I never want to lose money like that ever again. Well, you're not alone. And that's what we're here to talk about today. How to never lose money in the stock market and still beat inflation. First, let's cover a common misconception about the stock market called buy and hold. This strategy used to work. It's how Warren Buffett built his fortune, along with so many others in the 20th century. But in the 21st century, things are a bit different. It used to be that tried and true companies would rise to prominence and then predictably dominate in their category for decades. But now, as we saw in the dot-com bubble, many companies are number one today and gone tomorrow. They're not stable and long-term like they used to be. So let's look at a real-world example of how the buy and hold strategy has failed miserably. This is a graph of the Japanese leading stock market index, the Nikkei 225, in the last part of the 20th century. Notice what happens in the graph between 1989 and 2009, a 20-year period. If an investor had $1,000 in this market in 1989, by 2009, it would have been worth $271.01. How's that for a buy and hold strategy? You lose 73% of your money, and that doesn't take into account inflation. You'll see over this period of time, there were gains and losses. There were actually 9 gains and 11 losses. In 2005, there was even a 40% gain. But the losses outweighed the gains in the big picture, and the end result was 73% loss at the end of 20 years. Now, what if we could do 2 simple things? Let's say we could make our losses 0. No matter what the market does, you don't lose money. Now let's say in the gain years, you could get those gains, but only up to a certain percent, let's say 14%. So even in the market we're up 40%, you only got 14. If you could have done just those 2 things in the Japanese market, that account would actually have gone to $2,281.34. That's a 120% gain during a 20-year period when the market itself actually declined by 73%. Here's another picture to show you how this works. Let's say the stock market, and we're talking the US stock market, is going up and down 10% every other year. You would think that the average gain would be 0, but in reality, your account probably technically is upside down. You actually would have less than you started with, and here's an example. Take 2 accounts. One is an indexed account, where you can suffer no loss when the markets are down, and the other is invested directly in the market like the S&P. Both accounts start with $1,000. At the end of the very first year, the market's up 10%. So both accounts are at $1,100. The next year, the market loses 10%. The index account stays at $1,100, while the other account drops 10% to $990. The next year, both accounts go up 10% again. So the indexed account goes to $1,210, while the S&P account only climbs to $1,089. So here's what the numbers look like over the next 10 years. The bottom line is, at the end of the 10th year, the S&P market account is at $950, which is actually a net loss of 5%. The index account is up 61%, a total value of $1,610. That's the power of zero. Never having to suffer a loss when the markets are down. By utilizing the power of 0, never taking a loss, you've turned a period that could have been really volatile time in your life into a 61% gain in your assets. How is this possible? How can you always benefit from the gains in the stock market but not have to suffer any of the losses? Fixed indexed annuities use sophisticated investing tools called options to realize this benefit for you.
Yeah, so there's some magic behind it, which is basically the way they do option trading, buying options that mitigate the risk. And that's how insurance companies are able to do it. They got smart people that do that and are able to get the gains in the market without suffering any losses. And so we've got professionals that know how to do that properly. So here's a video that Sam talks about here, which talks about the fees too. So this talks about the fees.
If you're like most people, you're saving for retirement using one of these qualified plans, a 401k or a solo K, a self-employed pension, a IRA. There's a lot of different plans. What most people don't know or understand is how much they're going to lose in taxes when they retire and they start taking income. Remember, these are tax deferred programs. Or how much you're going to lose to fees each and every year. In this quick example, if they're saving just $20,000 a year, taxes and fees are going to cost them about $1 million during their retirement. The sad part is nobody's ever told them about this. So check this out. By age 79, the qualified plan is broke. Why? Because they gave away about $1.1 million in taxes and fees, and they only took home about $1 million. Bet you didn't know that. And the tax-free plan ends up with a total advantage over somebody's lifetime of about $2.1 million. On the left-hand side is the current plan. And I'm going to show you a sample and compare it to the tax-free plan on the right. And the tax-free plan is IRS approved. In this example, this person is age 40. They're going to put money away until age 70. And then they're going to start taking income home at age 71. In this example, they're in the 24% bracket right now. They believe that taxes are going to go up, but we're going to keep taxes at just 24% for right now, when most people think taxes are easily going to be 34 to 40%. Now, the current plan, 401k type program, has two fees. One just to own a 401k. Bet you didn't know that. And then on top of that, if you have your money in mutual funds, guess what? You have mutual fund fees as well. Together, those fees can average somewhere around 4.5% to 6%. The current plan's 20-year average return, that's in red, was only about 4.5%. And the tax-free plan in green, well, its average was about 7.1%. Why? You'll notice the green line never loses any money when the markets crash. That's a guarantee, folks. You never lose any money in the market crash. Take a look at the red line. That's the market. So you can see if you had your money in a 401k or any type of qualified plan that's tied to the market, every time the market crashes, you lose money. Now, in this box, we're going to show what the net advantage is over a person's lifetime. So to start off with, you can see on the left, the current plan, they're putting away around $26,000 a year. If they decided to take that money home, they're going to have to pay taxes. And if they did, that would leave them with about $20,000 to go into the tax-free plan. Now, they're both going to take home the same amount of net spendable income. That's about $103,000. In order to get the same net spendable income as the tax-free plan, they have to take out about $135,000 and then pay about $32,000 every single year to end up with the same net spendable income as the tax-free plan. Now, if the owner did pass away at the end of the very first year, the tax-free plan would provide a total advantage of over $593,000. Now, not everybody's going to pass away the first year, but what if, right? Would you rather give your family $20,000 or provide them with about $500, almost $600,000 of tax-free death benefit? If they live to age 84, and that's average, the tax-free plan would provide over $2.1 million in total advantage. So let me explain the total advantage. It's comprised of 4 different items. You can see that the tax-free plan right here, we don't pay any taxes because, again, it's tax-free. The qualified plan had to pay $365,000 over their lifetime before they ran out of money. In addition to that, yes, there is more money that's being spent, and those are on the fees. Remember, we're just showing 2.5% when those fees could be maybe 0.5% or even as much as 4 or 5%. On top of that, the tax-free program is going to provide additional income because it doesn't run out of money until you die. And when you die, there's a death benefit. But with the current plan, because you're spending so much money in taxes and fees, you're going to run out of the money way too soon. And you can see right here, the tax-free program is going to provide over $1 million of tax-free death benefit for your family if you were to pass away at age 84. The current plan, unfortunately, would be out of money by about age 81. And of course, the tax-free plan provides income all the way up until the day that you die. Now, what if taxes did go up? Instead of 24%, let's say they only went to 34, and the tax-free plan would still have a total advantage of almost $2.5 million. Now, even if your company gives you a annual employee match, the tax-free plan would still be ahead by over $2.5 million. And by the way, you'll notice that $13,000 company match, that's way more money than any company provides. They're usually 3 to 4% of your gross. 13,000 is unheard of, but the IUL, the tax-free plan, is still ahead by $2.5 million. Now, what's even more disturbing is that in this example, the current plan gave away $1.1 million in taxes and fees, but you only took home $981,000. You actually gave away more money than they took home, and because of that, they're out of money at age 79. What are you going to do if you're at age 79 and you run out of money? It's going to make life pretty tough.
Need we say more? We're getting close to the end of our time. There's a reason why Jeff, he placed 450,000 of target premium IUL sales last month alone. 450,000. In fact, he's the number 5 producer for Columbus Life. And I was talking about why Columbus Life. He's got access to Allianz and all these other companies out there. He gave me like 5 specific reasons why he likes the Columbus Life policy, not the least of which are the fees, right? The fees that he's saving the client and where they can put more money into cash value. That's why he likes Columbus Life. I think he does another company too, but even splitting his business, he's the number 5 producer. Can you imagine 450,000 in 1 month? Okay, so why do I tell you that? Because obviously the people that he is talking to see the value in not continuing with a 401k or a solo 401k if they're business owners. They see the value, or an IRA, they see the value with Index Universal Life. These $450,000 worth of target premium people are making a powerful decision for themselves, right? So if they're doing it, and these are, some of these people have assets, he's finding opportunities, gang. I mean, gosh, you'd be happy to do 450,000 in a year, right? If you did 450,000 in a year, you would automatically be put in the top 5 personal producers in the Alliance, maybe the top 10, but I believe the top 5. And that's just his 1 month. But how do you get here? You get here by learning. You get here by investing in yourself and understanding what we're talking about. When you're telling someone, wow, you're still doing the 401k thing and IRA? Wow. Has anyone not told you about indexing and creating wealth, tax-free wealth through Index Universal Life, or what, nerdy insurance agents will call 7702. 7702. You doing a 7702 program? That's how agents can sound really smart. 7702, I mean, Jeff calls it 7702 also. That's just code word for tax-free retirement. You mentioned 7702 to the average Joe out there. Like, what is that? 7702. Tax-free retirement. You have any of your retirement planning and tax-free income? I don't know. What's that? I've heard of Roth IRA. Oh, this is Roth IRA on steroids. Anyway, so there's power in this concept. And if you've never considered it, I hope I've given you enough fodder for you to understand that you've got a powerful opportunity armed with this knowledge to go out there and help people with this, people that have no clue about it, right? I mean, I can show you a bunch more examples. Gosh, are they right for a self-employed? They're absolutely the best, in my opinion, for self-employed people. This is really one of the best vehicles, really one of the best vehicles for anyone. The bottom line is, are you interested in in putting your retirement into tax-free instruments? Or do you want to pay taxes on your retirement? What are they going to say? Well, what's the thing with the tax-free? Oh, really? Has anyone not told you about a 7702 program? That's where you can throw that number in there. Anyway, they have changed the rules on the IULs, where which 7702 rule changes. They've allowed clients to put more money into it. So it's even a better opportunity now than it had been prior to the law change. So we're seeing a lot of value in this. Oh, let me show you one more. Here's a big one, because you're going to get this question from people. Well, how come no one's ever told me about this?
Are you starting to see what I mean by the best retirement vehicle you've never heard of? Hey, that reminds me. Let's talk a little bit more about why you've probably never heard of an IUL before. I already told you that one of the main reasons was that stodgy old insurance companies have horrific communication skills. But there actually is a bigger reason, which is financial advisors almost never talk about IUL. Why is that? Simple math. Only licensed insurance agents can legally sell you an IUL, and most licensed money managers and brokers are not licensed to sell insurance. In other words, the guy who sells you an IRA can't by law sell you an indexed universal life policy. And if he can't sell it, he can't make money on it. End of story. Your financial planner's motivation is to get you to sign up for an IRA or 401k and make money on you for life as your investment grows. They don't care about your future tax burden. Why should they? Seriously, call your investment advisor on the phone right now and ask about an IUL. Chances are 99% he or she has never even heard of it. And if they have zero working knowledge of how or why it works. How would they know? They don't know insurance products. They like to think they have a corner on the market of helping people save enough money to retire, but they don't. They're selling skateboards, bicycles, roller skates, and pretending like the big shiny private jet doesn't even exist. The fact is, the IUL is the best possible wealth accumulation vehicle for your retirement for most people. And in most situations, it simply cannot be beat for tax advantages, safety, growth potential, liquidity, and flexibility.
There you go. They are not incentivized at all because they just want to manage your money. You know, they'll make 4%, 3-4% to manage your money, and you know, and there's all kinds of fees, you know, as you mentioned, that's layered inside a mutual fund, or 1%. They'll say 1%. Well, I make only 1%, but they don't tell them that there are other fees inside a mutual fund that's layered in there, that it could really be 3.5-4% or more. And it's pretty insane what they pay. So that's why, whether you're, yeah, and it does, like Sam says, it compounds over time. So you know how interest compounding works? Fees work the same way. It's just money that you're paying for fees that could have been in the market earning you compounded interest have been taken away. Do you see how insidious it is, how diabolical it is? And whether your money goes up or down, they still make money, quote unquote, managing your money. Whether they manage it into the ground or they manage it for growth, they still make money on that, right? So anyway, we're a little bit biased because we like to be on the side of truth and speaking truth to people. And you have an opportunity to change someone's truth, wake them up, man. And then again, with the opportunity that we have to identify these type of clients more so than final expense leads, right? You're going to find very few clients on final expense leads that are going to be giving you the 100,000 AP a year IUL. You know, and this other thing, we're going to identify those folks. So anyway, man, thanks for everyone plugging in. It's Monday. Time to change your week. Let's do something this week to get on the leaderboard. You've got till Thursday midnight, right? Let's get on the leaderboard. Let's change the way you think about what we're doing to serve people. And man, encourage others by getting on the leaderboard, especially if you're recruiting. If you're recruiting, man, you better be on the leaderboard. All right, man, rock on. God bless, man. Take care. I'm here to help. Right.
Figure it out.
All right.